These are the plays that you're going to make money on today. This is the Daily Profit brought to you by Linemaker Sports. On today's show, we're going to go through the NBA and we're going to do a full breakdown on the Thursday night football game between the Jets and the Texans. Now, before we get to that, let's talk about yesterday's F-bombs that I had. I had an 80% probability for Victor Wembanyama to go under 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He didn't even come close to that. We have been printing money fading Wemby early on in this season. All right, he hasn't been getting anywhere close to his PRA number. Then we had Jaylen Brown, who had a 74% probability to go under 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists. They ended up going into overtime, which was a little bit scary there because he had about, I think, 35 points, rebounds, and assists going into OT, and he ended up still being able to cover on that under. So hitting that as well. And then on the show across the board, we hit almost every single NBA play that we threw out there and most of the baseball plays as well in the Dodgers-Yankees. And also congratulations to the Dodgers. They are World Series champs thanks to the Yankees fumbling a whole entire inning. All right. But let's go ahead and get down to some business for today. Let's start with Jalen Green. Jalen Green has a 73% probability to go under 34.5 points, rebounds, and assists. The only thing here is he's going against the 29th best team at guarding the shooting guard position. So this doesn't really mix, okay? He has a high probability, but he's going against a team that allows a lot of fantasy points, rebounds, and assists against fellow shooting guards. So kind of not the mix that you want there. You got a high probability, but you got a bad matchup pretty much. All right, and that's going to be what the topic is today as we go through, because we're going to talk about some more stuff here, all right? Kevin Durant, 72% probability to go over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's going against the best team at guarding the power forward position. So again, a high probability play, but a bad matchup. So you have to understand when it comes down to having great probability, sometimes you have to mix in that matchup as well to see, do we have that true probability of that happening? Now, his percentage overall actually drops a bit because he's going against a team that locks down the power forward position. So his opportunity to get over that 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists is in jeopardy when he goes against a team that is good at guarding that position. So let's get to Alperen Sengun. We've had talked about this guy multiple times. Same thing with Kevin Durant. He's got a 76% probability to go over 28.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's going against the 7th best team at guarding the center position. All right. So again, we have a high probability going against a bad matchup. That's the story for today. All right. Because everybody that has a high probability is going against a bad matchup. So that's the one downside that we got. And then when we got the fade machine here that we've been fading all early on in the season, we got Wemby. He's got a 78% probability to go under 44.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He's going against the 19th best team at guarding the center position. So again, he's going against a team that gives up a decent amount of points to centers. Now, not, kind of middle of the pack with giving it at 19th, kind of the middle of the pack, not the bottom 10, right? Almost at that bottom 10, but this wouldn't be as bad of a matchup as the other ones that I have listed. All right, let's talk about those one more time here. I want to go through. Again, you're looking at an under on Jalen Green, under 34.5 points, rebounds, assists, but he's going against one of the best teams at guarding that position. So you kind of want to take that out of the equation. You really don't want to have to risk that, especially after a day like yesterday where we go and clean sweep the board all the way across. You don't really want to jeopardize just because there's plays out there. All right. So again, that's not a good matchup. Kevin Durant, again, not a good matchup. He has the probability, but he's going against the best team at guarding the power forward position. You don't want that because you want to set yourself up with the best opportunity to win that bet. This isn't the best opportunity to win the bet because he's going against a bad matchup. All right. Again, Sengun, same thing here. As bad because they're the 7th best team at guarding the center position, but still a decently bad matchup. The only one that you could possibly consider is, again, the fade machine here, which is Wemby. But he's due to go over. I mean, we've hit the under on him, I think, like 3 or 4 times already. So he's due to get over that mark. Tonight, he has a good opportunity to be able to do that, going against a team that doesn't guard that center position well whatsoever. So he has a good opportunity to be able to go over that number, just be based on that. All right. But overall, he's got that 78% probability to go under 44.5. Because again, Wemby is not a points, rebounds, assists mostly guy. He's mostly a points, rebounds guy. So he needs to get at least 20 points, 20 rebounds, and then maybe some assists here and there to be able to get over that number, which he's definitely capable of doing. Early on in the year, no, he hasn't been able to do anything. He's been cashing left and right, going with the under on that. But the lesson for today is across the matchups for NBA is don't force anything. All right. Like me personally, across the board here in the NBA, I might not play any of those. All right. Because I actually do have a couple more that have higher percentages that have a favorable matchup. So I might not play any of those NBA because it's just there's no reason to sometimes. If you're coming off a hot day, you don't need to force things because next thing you force things, you end up losing a couple bets that you didn't even need to place. All right. Now let's talk about the $1,000 giveaway tomorrow. Somebody's making $1,000. All right. Somebody's going to get $1,000 tomorrow. So make sure you are commenting GO down below and make sure you're subscribed. This is very important. If you are not subscribed to the channel, you don't show any dedication to the channel. So you're not going to win that money. So make sure you are subscribed and you comment GO down below. All right. Again, every Friday, we're doing this to the end of the year. Tomorrow's going to be the first one. So as many entries as you want, you can comment GO. All right. Now let's get to Thursday Night Football. All right. I got a full slate to talk about here for Thursday Night Football. We got the Texans versus the Jets, which doesn't look like it's going to be too exciting of a game like usual Thursday Night Football, but let's talk a little bit about it. All right. Houston's the 14th best scoring team in the league, which is not too bad, middle of the pack. The Jets, 25th best scoring team. They're not too good on offense whatsoever. Houston's the 8th best passing team with CJ Stroud. We know that already, but he's got some injuries at receiver, so got to worry about that. The Jets, they're the 13th best passing team, which was kind of shocking because I didn't think that, like on the surface, but looking deeper into it, they are a decent passing team. Now, here's the downside to passing teams. The Jets are the 2nd best pass defense in the league, and Houston is the 3rd best pass defense. These are the top passing defenses in the league. So they kind of cancel out anywhere on the other side of thinking about passing yards or anything like that with Aaron Rodgers and CJ Stroud because they're going against top-notch secondary units. All right. Houston is the 18th best rushing team, led by Mixon. All right. And New York, which is surprising with Breece Hall, they're dead last in rushing. All right. And New York is 17th best at rushing defense, which is middle of the pack. Same thing with Houston. They're 13th. So middle of the pack rush defense is there. If you're looking like just straight off of that, there's really not much for props tonight to look at when it comes to the Texans and the Jets because you think, okay, these are pass dominant teams, but they're going against the best pass defenses in the league. So your passing yards overs are in jeopardy there, no matter what the probability really is. They're in jeopardy because they're going against some of the best defenses. Your rush offenses aren't too great. They're bottom of the league rushing offenses and going against middle of the pack rushing defenses. So that kind of cancels itself out there as well. But I was able to find something. We can talk about here. All right. First, the Texans have allowed the 24th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Now, you might ask why fantasy has anything to do with what we're doing. Fantasy points for receivers are touchdowns, receiving yards, receptions, all that good stuff. So it still is involved if we're betting over-unders on receiving yards. So you can still use the information for that stuff. Now, the Texans are allowing the 24th most. The problem is here, your opposing wide receivers are Devontae Adams, Wilson, all the Jets guys. We don't really know how they're gelling with Devontae Adams and who's getting the target share and all that getting mixed up with Devontae Adams coming in. So we can't really exploit anywhere there. There's nothing we can do there. All right. But there is something we can do. All right. The Texans are the best team at guarding the tight end position. What I'm thinking here is Texans, they're a little bit vulnerable to wide receivers. Even though they have the best pass defense, wide receivers, they're a bit vulnerable. So the wide receivers should be able to get somewhat most of the target share here. They should be able to, Aaron Rodgers should be able to pass just a little bit enough and focus more on his wide receivers than his tight end, because the Texans defend the tight end the best in the NFL. So what I'm thinking here is Conklin under 34.5 receiving yards is possibly the best bet that you're going to get in Thursday Night Football tonight. Because other than that, there really is nothing else that you could go off of. You can't go off of anybody with rushing yards. Can't go off of passing yards because they're going against the best pass defenses, even though the Texans allow the most, or not the most, but the 24th most fantasy points for receivers. There's just not much you can go off of. Devontae Adams thrown into the mix for the Jets receivers. If Devontae Adams wasn't there, maybe Garrett Wilson we could look at, but with Devontae Adams in, it's a whole different story. We need to know what kind of target share they'll be doing. Rodgers, he's obviously looking at Adams a lot, so it's just a lot to take in to be able to find a play for Thursday Night Football. But like I said, the best opportunity I think possibly could be Tyler Conklin under 34.5 receiving yards. I think that's the best that you could possibly do for tonight, Thursday Night Football. Now, I do have a couple F-bombs. I got one for the NBA, 76% probability, and an NHL one that has a 78% probability. All right, if you guys want those, make sure you guys go in the description and click the link. Also, if you guys want me to teach you how to do these probabilities, because I get this comment all the time. How do you come up with this stuff? How do you do this? This is a system that I designed myself. 10 years in the making it took, all right? If you guys want to learn that system, you go in the description and click the link and visit the website. It's that simple, all right? As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. This is the Daily Profit. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Till then, I'm out.